Welcome to another episode of Hutch on Hunting. And we're heading out to Ohio today, and we're going to meet with Evan Gersper. And he was on my show, my previous show, um, that'll go nameless, but it was all about whitetails. And he lives in Ohio, and right now he's a staff writer for Created Outdoor Ministry. Evan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's a pleasure, man. It's always a pleasure. We spent in the warm up a little bit of time getting caught up where you are and how you get to Created Outdoors. So let's just jump right into that and let people know exactly what you're doing there, why you're there, and what the mission of Created Outdoor Ministry is.
Yeah, so um, I'd met Doug DeHarpart, who's the founder of Created Outdoors, a while back, and he's one of those guys in Ohio that was fortunate enough to tag some pretty giant whitetails here in the state, and he's pretty consistent with it too every year. So, but we were kind of dealing with a similar sponsor, and he had mentioned the outdoor ministry, and at that point, I think he was just kind of getting the wheels turning, and I happened to suggest him. He has a bow shop as well, so I suggested him to a buddy, and we went drove down there. He's about an hour or so from me, and my buddy really liked the bow that he had in stock, bought it, and we were talking, and I was kind of letting him know, everything that's been going on with me with my military career. After that, all the health issues I've had, and when I was kind of looking for something more geared towards the outdoors, and I hadn't really thought about Created Outdoors as a ministry from what I had seen at that point. And when he started explaining a little bit more of what it was, he had offered me a staff position also, and it just kind of intrigued me because to have that outdoor ministry, you have that brotherhood, and uh, people seem to actually care. It's not just guys getting together and going hunting and having a good time sharing stories. It's, they're, if you're having an issue or you're down on your luck, they're willing to be there to help you and bring you back up. And they're sending prayers and everything else. And they do Bible studies, and, so it's more involved. You get to be more involved with the people that you're kind of dealing with. And they do a lot in the community. They're doing, kind of like an archery intro to archery. They do Brothers and Burgers, which is kind of like a cookout and get together, a Bible study kind of thing, and we shoot our bows and that kind of stuff. So it's more like a family oriented structure of a show slash ministry. So uh, that kind of hit home for me.
Yeah, and I went to the website because Created Outdoors now, since I see the logo and stuff, I remember that group. But the group you're within now, you're writing a blog for, is that Christian Outdoor
Yeah,
Ministry?
Created Outdoors. It's Created Outdoors. So the blog, I'm not sure they have the blog up and running yet. So I've written 6 articles for it so far. I have another 3 I need to submit, but I'm waiting for them to get that kind of up and running. But that's the plan. Um, they kind of they kind of asked for like an intro when you started, so you kind of introduce yourself, do a little video on the staff page on Facebook, and when I mentioned that had written for magazines previously, they asked to see something, and the blog's going to be really, it's going to be really interesting. We're not just doing it about hunting. There's going to be a lot of hunting stories in there and tips and whatnot. But we're also incorporating the scripture into it. So it's it's kind of different. It's something that I haven't seen ever before, and I'm really excited about it. Um, like I said, it's a really great group of people that we're working with here, and uh, Doug DeHartpart's been absolutely amazing through the whole process. Also, getting acclimated into the group and whatnot. Also, but uh, he does a lot in the community where he goes out and does these different hunting banquets and stuff and guest speaks and there's other guys in the group that do the same. So we're gonna we're gonna be a little bit different and kind of go from there. But the YouTube channel seems to be pretty good. It has some
Yeah, that's
steady.
very robust. You saw I had it on the screen. I was doing the screen share because I had gotten Christian. There was a different group, and I wanted to get, my information correct. So I just corrected that. And if you would, after we're done, just tell Doug, you can send him my Hutch on Hunting uh at gmail.com, have him reach out to me and I'll get him on the show.
Sounds good to me.
Now, let's kind of stop here and let's go back to Afghanistan and your military service, which thank you so much for your service, sir.
Thank
And
you.
let's talk about how hunting was a benefit or got you through some tough times or however you want to say it, you know, how hunting and the outdoor experience helped you uh, when you were deployed.
Uh, Man, so actually actually ordered a bow while I was in Afghanistan. It was a Diamond Deadeye, and that was in early or late 2012. I think I got it in early 2013, and they shipped it right there. The shipping was free. Um, so we kind of built an archery range there in the motor pool, and there were a few of us that would kind of get together and shoot when we had some free time. And we didn't have much of it, but we had some. And that was, aside from going to church, that was, that was the big thing that I look forward to. When we were on the road or on mission or whatever, we'd stop at different posts and I would just kind of watch hunting videos on Facebook, whatever I could. If YouTube would work, I'd get on there. The internet usually wasn't too strong signal, so we were, forced to deal with what we had. But yeah, that actually got me into the hunting industry because one mission we were leaving post. We got a few miles down the road and we got stopped by some turkeys that were crossing the road, and uh, we're not supposed to, run over the livestock and harm the livestock. So we had to wait for them to kind of get out of the road. So I took some pictures, and that's what got me on full draw adrenaline outdoors.
Were
So
they wild turkeys or domestic
no, they were
turkeys?
domesticated, but it
Okay.
was opening day of turkey season in Ohio. So I'm snapping pictures, and I can't shoot them, but they were taunting me half a world away.
That's and I'll just interject this now. God does have a sense of humor, folks. Here he is, a gazillion miles away from his home. Turkey season's opening at home, and all of a sudden, a flock of turkeys just goes right in front of him. So you're not alone, right?
No, I wasn't alone. There were a bunch of us taking pictures. I shared it on Facebook when we got back to post a couple days later, and that's what kind of sparked off my journey in the outdoor industry, though.
Now, are you disabled from the military, or talk to me
Yeah,
about
so
that?
I have 100% VA disability rating. In 2020, from injuries suffered in Afghanistan, uh, I was I ended up having an aortic dissection.
Dang.
So, yeah. yeah, that
Did you
was
get blown up or what happened?
yeah, yeah. So I took I got blown up in Afghanistan. We hit an IED. We're not sure if that's what did it or Iraq. Iraq was a couple years before that. But Iraq, I took 2 rounds to the vest, but nothing penetrated. But they're thinking trauma of some sort is what caused the tear. There wasn't a blockage, so and it waited a while. I was guiding 2 young kids for the Sportsmen for Heroes Foundation. They're brothers, and they have Frederick's ataxia. And so I was on a deer hunt with them here in Ohio, and we got through the evening sit, and then I ended up blacking out and having some other issues, and throughout the night, and finally I got up the next morning and I blacked out again, and went to the emergency room, and they found the tear, and they life flighted me downtown to Cleveland, and it was uh, fortunately, God was looking out for me. I'm still here, and
Did you go to
get to do.
Cleveland Clinic? Is that where you went?
The no, it was University Hospitals in Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mentioned that because a friend of mine a couple years back had his heart repaired at Cleveland Clinic.
yeah. There's a lot of good doctors at both.
Great.
So
So you were taken care of, and now with your disability, are you working other jobs or what are you doing?
the VA doesn't want me working. There's still a tear. Um, they just kind of put a stint over top of it. They couldn't repair the whole thing. So I'm on a lifting and a restriction of lifting, pushing, or pulling 40 pounds or less. 40 pounds is like a once or twice a day thing. And then anything repetitive, my maximum is 20 pounds. So I'm, yeah, I like my archery hunting. I really love to archery hunt. Uh, that was one of the things I looked at the surgeon as they were kind of wheeling me out away from my wife. And I said, am I going to be able to bow hunt? He goes, well, I hope so. I said, well, if I can't bow hunt, I said, don't even bother. Just let me go.
Oh no.
And she was a little upset with me over that, but I was, that's the one thing. When I'm in the tree stand during the rut or early fall, that's my peacetime. That's my time I feel closest to God, and that's that's my church. So if I can't have that, that's the only thing that's been helping me get through all this stuff. So
Yeah, and
and
folks,
then
I just had my pastor on who's a big hunter and fly fisherman, and he talked about um for him that when he's in the wilderness, obviously in Colorado we have big peaks and a lot of wilderness, and that's when he just sits and meditates and reads his Bible and prays. And that's, he feels exactly like you do. There's no noise, there's no distractions. It's just him, having conversation with God. And,
right.
and that's for my pastor. And yeah, it's a pretty amazing thing. And I'm sure, I'd like to hear from my listeners if you've had some experiences in that. Just send me an email at hutchonhunting@gmail.com and let me know what what experiences you've had. So let's go back. So now you're um, writing a blog, and if somebody wants to read that, how do they get there?
It'll be posted on the Created Outdoors webpage. So there's going to be a blog link. We're going to share the blog link on the social media sites as well, Facebook. Um,
And I've got Created Outdoors. So where would that be if somebody wants to come and view it?
I think it's I think it's
No, no,
www.createdoutdoors.
I have it. It's up. If you can see it on your screen, I'm sharing my screen with you, or maybe I'm
I see
not.
you.
Let's get back to Zoom. Share screen. Okay, I'll share a screen with you. There you go.
Yeah. So, uh, yeah, they don't have it up and running yet. So it'll
Okay,
be up there with the event speakers, partners,
up here,
contact.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And so there's a website, createdoutdoors.com. There's a contact page. You can reach out to them. And I'm going to copy that and I'm going to send that. I'm going to stop. I'm going to send that. Send Doug an email after we're done. And you can call him too. But
Yeah,
getting
I
back to
will.
the show, and have you ever hunted out west? Have you ever hunted elk or?
Yeah, I've hunted elk a couple times. So I like to hunt Arizona. And part of the reason I like Arizona so much is I have friends out in Arizona. So it's easy for me to get out there. It gives me a reason to get out there, I should say,
Sure.
and get to see them. And that's actually where Sportsmen for Heroes is headquartered out of. And I still volunteer for them, so I'm still a board member for them, and I try to do as much as possible out there. They do. They still do hunts all over the country, though. So we usually do a turkey hunt out here in the spring in Ohio, and then we usually hunt PA also. Um, and then they do a javelina hunt. They do elk hunts, mule deer, pronghorn. They just got done with a. It's not just wounded veterans either, so they do children with mobility impairment as well. Um, so they just had a young man out on a mountain lion hunt who was successful. And Sonny Tapia is the founder of that organization, and it's called Sportsmen for Heroes. And he's got a heart that just keeps on going, you know. So he's one of those guys that I like to get out there. I try to get out there at least once a year, and if I can't hunt, if I don't draw a tag, then I go out there and we'll shed hunt, or I'll go out for the banquet in April. Kind of help set up, help do stuff out there, help with the raffles, that kind of stuff, and I try to do what I can for them as well. And tell you, elk hunting though, there's nothing like it, man. So it's turkey hunting, I guess, is similar, but it's there's a reason they call it the poor man's elk hunt. But you know, it's when you have a almost 1,000 pound animal sitting 10, 12 yards from you and you can't shoot it because there's a spruce tree or a sagebrush or whatever in the way, and it's just bugling at you, and your heart gets going pretty good. It's fun. That's the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah,
So,
snot's coming out of their nose and their eyes are just red and they're all lit up. And it's, if you've never been there, folks, you got to get there. And, you got to experience that rush, the adrenaline rush where, literally you're 10 to 15 yards from a bugling bull and you don't have a shot. I mean, it's just the way it is, but enjoy the show. That's what I tell people. I said, don't feel bad about it. Just enjoy the show because it's an amazing thing in September in the high country throughout the Rocky Mountains. And to be able to just experience that is just, a thrill in and of itself because the success rates are 10%, 15%, maybe. On public land, definitely 10% or less. On private land, you can get high, you can get, if you're paying for private land access and a guide and everything, you can get 50, 60, 70, 80% opportunity. I'm not saying kills, I'm just saying opportunities. So
yeah, it's
take a look at the West, because it is. I've only been turkey hunting once and it was okay. And he called them in, we shot the bird and I go, okay. It's, as you say, the poor man's elk hunt because you are communicating with the birds. And,
Yeah.
and that's the whole thing about elk hunting, uh, and elk talk and all the Wayne Carltons of the world and Jones and I can't think of a couple other people, but there's just unbelievable amount of information out there. Corey Jacobson was Elk 101. So, and YouTube channel is full of it, of elk hunting. But if you ever want to hunt out west, I'll give you a plug for hutchonhunting.com. Reach out to me because I know Colorado as well as anybody else, and I can help you by digital scouting. I can help you get on the mountain and get to where the elk are. The rest is up to you. So that's hutchonhunting.com. So getting back to you, Evan, let's talk about some of your greatest memories, your best memories for whitetail hunting in Ohio.
Oh man, so I gotta be honest. My best hunt memories for whitetail are probably watching my daughter. You know, so she killed her
Sure.
first deer at 7.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yeah, so she killed her first deer at 7, and I picked her up from school, and we ran home, grabbed the muzzle loader. It was gun season, and the muzzle loader didn't kick her too bad. And we pull in the driveway to the farm we have permission to hunt. There's 2 deer standing in the driveway, so we're just sitting and we're waiting for them to walk off. And the lady that owns the house, she texts me and she's like, "Aren't you gonna shoot them?" And I'm like, "We can't do anything right here. They're right by the house. They're right too close to the road too." And so she walks out and they run out into the field. And so we kind of snuck up the field edge, and she missed the first shot and I didn't grab my bag, and they just kind of stood there. So we snuck back to the car. I grabbed my bag, I reloaded the muzzle loader. We sneak up the wood line again. She shoots and mule kicks and it runs, and we ended up we ended up finding it, and that was her first deer, and she got her second deer there, and she got her first buck actually on our own property behind our house. And so she's one of those kids that I'd pin them up against any grown adult out there in the industry right now. And this year I had to tell her, I was like, it's opening day. I was like, if you see a buck that you want, great. I was like, but don't shoot more than 2. I was like, because I'd like to kill a deer, opening day. And she went out with my father-in-law, and I was helping a family friend's kid. So I'm sitting with him, and my father-in-law texts me, 1 deer down, doe down, oh, buck down, oh, doe down. So she shoots 3 deer within like 3 hours. And I'm like, what the heck? So we get over there to help them drag them out and get them all loaded up. And she's got her buck it would have been like a nice 120-inch
Yeah.
8 point. It had both sides, and it's got 4 on one side, and it's got like a 3.5-inch spike on the other side. And I was like, I thought you were gonna wait for something big this year. And she goes, well, he looked like Elliot off open season, so I had to shoot him. And I'm like, you're driving me nuts. So she's she's got 3 deer down opening day, and so I kind of hunted for myself a little bit, and uh, we didn't get out as much as we would have liked this year, but I ended up killing one of our target deer. It was a nice 6 point. That's the photo that I sent you. He was actually smaller antlers this year than he was last year. But he's been on the hit list for the last 3 years, and we just haven't been able get a shot off at him, and I ended up getting him out of a ground blind at 18 yards. So, but she does everything. She'll run the video camera. She'll, help hang stands. She helps dump corn, fill feeders, whatever we need to do. And for a 12-year-old, she's killed more things than most adults have. And her and I are actually going to Africa here beginning in June with my father-in-law.
Great. And there's the buck on the middle of the screen for your people
Yeah.
that will see the video later. And just to let you know, when I've got an intern helping me edit it, but once we get enough in the can, we're gonna, start putting them on my YouTube channel. So all my guests will be on YouTube also. So, that's a great buck. And are you gonna bow hunt over in Africa or is it rifle only?
Uh, we're all taking a bow. I haven't decided if I'm going to take a rifle as a backup or not yet. I'm kind of leaning more towards if we need one, we'll just rent one. That's less we
That's what
have
I
to.
would do.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we're leaning towards. So she's going to take her crossbow. Because it's a 40-pound minimum. She's not quite able to draw 40 pounds on her compound yet. She's right about 37
Right.
is about her max. And so yeah. And my bow, I have an elite remedy that's a 40-pound bow for to go with my medical
Sure.
restrictions. So it's it's taken me a little while to get the arrow set up that I want, that I was comfortable with to go to Africa. So
What kind of broadheads are you going to use over there?
I'm using Ramcats, and she's actually using Thorns. So she's using the Thorn Rift 2.2.
Okay.
Uh, my father-in-law, I think, uses Ramcats also. So
And so is it a plains game hunt? Is that what you're
yeah,
doing?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I won the hunt at the auction at the Sportsman for Heroes banquet last year in April, and that comes with one blue wildebeest for one hunter and one impala for one hunter. So I let Paige decide what she was going to go after on that, and she wants the wildebeest. So I'm going to take the impala, and then I let her choose what we're going to hunt next, and she chose the steenbuck, the diker, warthog, and baboon. So that's what we're both going after. And then my father-in-law, I think, is going after an eland, uh, impala, uh, warthog, and baboon.
And
So
so this is
we
going to
got to
be,
build.
you're going to be sitting in a water hole, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's everybody I talked to said that's the best way to hunt anyway. They said it's better than any safari you're ever gonna go on. Sitting there watching the water. They said everything comes in there. I do know there's going to be some of the animals like the steenbuck and the diker. They said should be rutting when we get there. The impalas may still be rutting when we get there. So that'll be fun to see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's exciting. Are you going to film it?
yeah, that's the plan. So I'm going to run the video camera for Paige, and then she's going to run the video camera for me. So I'll let her shoot first and kind of go that way, and I'll let her have the fun while she's young and able to do it with
That a
me. And
boy.
once she goes to college, then it's just going to be me. So
Now, if you want to give a shout out for that, the PH and where you're going, do you want to do that?
uh, I can't remember the name of the outfit that we're going out of. To be honest with you,
Okay.
I'd have to look it up. So that's another thing. Since my heart stuff, my memory is not the best, but I know Jeff Austin is the guy's name that I talk to. I talk to him pretty regularly. Um, and he's a veteran. He's getting ready to retire uh, from the service here pretty quick, either next year or the year after. And then I think that's his plan, is to go over there and help, be a professional hunter some of the time and whatnot too. Um, but I know the guy that owns the place. His first name's Eli, and I've talked to him a few times. And he's a really good guy. So I can share that information with you after the show.
Yeah, sure. Please do, just in case somebody asks, because I
Yeah,
had, a month or so ago, Amanda Lynn Mayhew, who has a place that she goes all the time. She
yeah,
calls it her camp, and it's a bow hunting only camp. And that's all. They don't use rifles at all. And the guides might, the PH might, because wounded, if they have to start tracking and stuff, they're gonna shoot it with the
yeah.
with a rifle. But
Especially with some of that dangerous game.
right, and I don't. I'm just. I know she has killed kudu there. I don't know if she's killed Cape Buffalo or not, or leopards or any of that. I don't know, but that's a lady that um, if I ever go or get the opportunity to go with my crossbow, because like you, I've got two pins in my right shoulder. I've got three back surgeries. I was in the United States Coast Guard issue rescues, so that's what I did. And so
Well,
I'm
thanks for your service.
thank you. And I'm not 100%, but I'm 50% right now, and I just had a reeval for my rating. So I hope it goes up. If it goes up, maybe I will get to Africa.
Yeah, I hope it does too.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, you hunt different states. You mentioned you went down to Arizona, Pennsylvania. What are some of the other states that you're hunting?
So we usually try to hunt Missouri every couple years for the rut. Um, I like hunting Missouri. There's a lot of good state land, public land to hunt. The problem with it is if it's rifle season, it's like a combat zone. So you want to get out there the week before that during archery season, because their archery season will run into the rut or pre-rut. And uh, so I like hunting pigs in Florida. It's one of my favorite things to do. I have family down in Florida, so I try to make it down there at least a couple times a year, even if I'm not hunting. Just go and try to visit. But usually I fit in either some kind of fishing or some kind of hunting while I'm down there. West Virginia, we usually do West Virginia rifle. That's the week of Thanksgiving. Um, and then I usually hunt Arizona. Like I said, I'll try to make it out there at least once a year. And then Michigan, I've hunted out there a couple times. And New York, I like hunting New York. We usually go out there for waterfowl. And actually, their snow geese should be coming through right about now. So if you haven't experienced a snow goose hunt, it's it's fun. It's a little cheaper in New York than it is those western states that have them. Uh, and there's a limit on them. I think the limit's 20, and but
20 a
it's
day?
20 a day, yeah.
Wow.
And like Arkansas, I don't think there's a limit. So they'll kill 200-300 birds in a group, and but there's nothing like snow goose hunting. It's when it comes to waterfowl, it's a little bit different. You have several thousand decoys out, and you have your landing zone set. You're wearing a white Tyvek suit, and you get to see it almost looks like a tornado. There's so many birds coming down, and they're so high when they start, and they twirl and twirl and twirl and twirl down. It's different. It's a fun experience.
How many times have you done it?
I've done it about 3 times, and we usually get together. It's a bunch of vets that get together and go and do it, and it gets a little expensive. It's about $250 to $300 a day, depending on the guide that you're paying, and it's uh it's worth it though for the camaraderie and getting out there and getting to see those guys. And and it's a different experience though. It's fun. It's a lot
Now,
of
is
fun.
that in Western New York or what part of New York is it?
Yeah, so where I'm hunting, it's right around the Finger Lakes region. Um, so they're right outside of Buffalo, I
Okay.
guess would be the closest big city. And so the Finger Lakes, there's all kinds of farm and ag land out there, and it's these guys they don't sleep. These guides, man, they drive around and they watch them all day. They have they call them spotters, so they watch where they're landing, and they'll get permission to hunt, and they'll lease it from the landowner. So the landowner makes a little bit of money off of it too, and when they find a new spot where they're landing, because they'll land and they'll root a field like a pig will, and there's so many birds that land, it almost looks like pigs were in there. And then they'll, at the end of the day, they pack everything up and they move to a new spot. And it takes several hours to pack everything up, takes several hours to set everything up, so they clean the decoys, they get everything, pristine and ready to go for the next day. And then you show up and you hunt. So I mean, it's worth the $250 to $300 a day. It really
Oh,
is.
yeah. Now, who cleans the birds?
Uh, you have your choice. You can either have them do it. A lot of the guides will do it for free. Um, we just kind of did it ourselves. So we just started like an assembly line kind of thing, and someone was cutting, someone was packaging, and someone was throwing in the freezer, and someone was cooking, making sure we had something to eat or we went out to eat. We have a good time with it.
Yeah. Do you just take the breast? Do you breast them?
Uh, Most of them, that's what we did. There's not a whole lot of meat on anything else. But last time I went, I took a couple and I put them in the smoker hole. They're actually pretty decent that way. Um, a lot of guys think they taste a little gamier than like your Canadian geese. To be honest with you, I couldn't really tell the difference. I think it's more in how you handle it. Like if you let them set too long, or you're hitting into guts with your knife, you're gonna end up having that kind of like deer. I feel
Yeah.
like it's all in the prep work.
Yeah, because I hunted snow geese up in Canada, the provinces of Canada, and white tornadoes, it's and the noise they make, it's just unbelievable. It's an unbelievable experience. And so if listening to this, folks, sometime get out there in the spring and there's plenty of states, plenty of places to go, and you're going to pay 250, $300 a day. And just go out and experience it. Buy a case of shells per person because you're going to have a lot of shooting.
Yep.
And, you know, it's just a great experience. And I think everybody, who loves the outdoors should really, experience, put it on your bucket list, figure it out, get a couple of guys, jump in the truck and go do it. Because,
Yeah. For
I still have over 500 decoys. When I was living up in Montana, I would slip over the border, and I had a couple of places I could go and set up myself. And I quit doing it because it was way too much work. Even 500 decoys. You know,
yeah.
that took me a lot of time, and sometimes if the ground was frozen, I had to have a drill with a bit on it, to get my stakes in. So you
Yeah.
start doing that, and it's like I don't think so. But I've had flocks just feet over my head, coming into my set, and it's just like, oh my goodness, this is this is pretty good.
Yeah. And there's most of your flocks have, 200-300 birds in them easy. Some of them are more
Easy.
than that, and very few are less than that. So
Yeah, it's a wonderful experience. So folks, here's two guys recommending, hey, go out and try it. What other, game do you like to hunt? So we got pigs, we got birds, and we got whitetails.
yeah, pigs, birds, whitetails, elk are high on my list. Um, I haven't connected with one yet, so that's on my bucket list. I wouldn't mind hunting moose either. That's on my list of things to do
Good luck
also.
getting a permit in the lower 48.
Yeah, that's the hard part and the expensive part. So um, a buddy of mine actually is going. I want to say he's going to British Columbia here uh, in September for the rut. So we'll see how he does. I'm hoping he connects with one
But it's an
pretty.
expensive hunt. I know Alaska's just off the charts.
It is. It really is. And he actually ended up getting this one because somebody backed out, and he knows the guy that's backing out. So he ended up getting it for a pretty good price, I guess. And I, I was like, man, I wouldn't pass it up, if I
Well,
had the money
no.
to do it. You know what I mean? So
Well, yeah,
I'm up.
because you kill I don't know, their size of a horse. So, you know, dressed meat, especially in Alaska, you can take everything off it. So they give all the meat, basically the meat away, and you're taking the back traps home or something,
Yeah,
flying that home with the antlers. So,
yeah. So I'm really hoping he connects on one. The success rate with the outfitter he's going through is mid 80s, so it's pretty high success rate. And I got another buddy they're going. Actually, they just went for red stag in New Zealand.
oh my
And
goodness.
they're going on like 2 or 3 trips this year. Uh, they're going to I can't remember where they're going, but they're going for
That's okay.
ibex. Yeah, so I'm excited to see what my friends get this year, and I didn't
There you
draw
go.
any. Yeah, I didn't draw any tags yet, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I have Africa coming up too, so
Well,
that's
that's
not necessarily a bad
that's
thing.
a trip of a
Yes.
lifetime. So just enjoy
Yeah.
that with your daughter and
Oh,
your
really? I
father-in-law.
will. I will. I'm gonna let her enjoy it more, I think, than me. Like I said, I'll film for her first, and then if I get an opportunity, I get an opportunity. If I don't, then I don't. And
Oh, you
that's
will.
I have more fun filming her anyway. So
Now, does your wife hunt?
she does. She does. She hasn't hunted in a couple years. She's more been into work. So the doctor that she was working for left, and there's a new doctor in there, and the way everything's just kind of been, she's getting out of work a little late, and she has other things in mind. So her childhood dream was owning a horse. So we bought my daughter a horse in June or July of last year, and we're going next Monday to look at another horse for my wife so they can do the trail rides together and
Oh, neat.
stuff. So uh, I think she wants to show also. My daughter shows her horse throughout the summer, so I think that's on the plan for
Excellent.
for.
Excellent.
So we'll see how that goes, but I'm hoping she wants this one. We've looked at a couple of them, and they haven't made her want it. I guess they weren't
Sure.
the right one. So yeah, I'd like to see her doing that because we all enjoy going to the barn. We all enjoy doing the barn chores. It's very relaxing, and that's one of those things too where if we had two horses, I could pack Paige up and the horses in the trailer, haul out to Arizona or
There you
Colorado,
go.
and
There you
go
go.
elk horses. So that's something that we're kind of looking into a little bit more too.
Excellent. Well, do you have any closing comments? Because we're at the end of the show here. So, Evan, share some thoughts with us.
If you guys aren't familiar with Created Outdoors, I highly recommend getting on the website, getting on the Facebook page, and kind of looking into what we're about. Like I said, we do a lot of Bible studies. We do the devotionals. I think we're, I think Doug is actually, he's got another intro to archery coming up here in the next month or so as well. So that's getting, we're trying to get people, familiarized with the outdoors and archery, and you don't necessarily have to hunt, but you get to experience how calming archery can be. It's a stress relief, just shooting a bow and hanging out with some other people that are like-minded in their faith. And um, you know it's a good group of people, and if you have any issues, they're willing to help, and they do a lot in the community. They hand out meals to homeless, and so they work at the soup kitchens and everything else. So it's a really good group of guys. um, I can't say enough about them. Everybody's been absolutely amazing since I've come on board. So, and then as soon as the blog's up and running, I'll let you know, and we'll get that out there too. The blog it'll be a good read.
Great. So, thank you so much for sharing your time today. And this is Hutch on Hunting. And listeners, I would like you to all go to savethehuntcolorado.com and support what's happening in Colorado, as our fight is huge to maintain the tradition of hunting in Colorado. There are those radical people that want to take away hunting rights in Colorado for all species. Right now, it's just for cats, mountain lion, bobcats, and lynx. And oh, by the way, lynx is already protected. So I have no idea why they threw that on in the bill. But Proposition 91 is a ban on hunting mountain lions, bobcats, and lynx here in Colorado. And it's going to be a ballot initiative unless we defeat it before then in November. So please support SaveTheHuntColorado.com. Thank you so much for listening, and can't wait for my next show.